Hello, and welcome to Your Health Matters. I'm your host, Dr. Peter Hogenkamp, and today on the program, we're going to be discussing the health benefits of summer. If you've been watching the shows over the past 3 months, you know that we've been discussing the hidden health hazards of summer. And I was talking to several viewers who were telling me that I was painting too dark a picture for summer, that they loved summer, that summer is a healthy time. And that is people's perception, which is one of the reasons why I decided to do a couple of programs about the hidden health hazards of summer. But they wanted me to talk about, hey, what's good and healthy about summer? And I do understand that. I think we all feel like summer is a healthy time. And as I prepared for the show, doing research, I was disappointed to find out that a lot of my perceptions about summer actually didn't pan out. And we're going to talk about that. But there for sure are many health benefits of summer. And all of them have to do with that orange ball in the sky we call the sun. Sun is what makes our summer summer. It gives us the heat. It gives us the long days. It makes everything grow. All the things that we associate with summer relate to the sun. And so I thought it fitting that we start off with sunshine and what the health benefits of sunshine are. When I asked people this, I was on vacation last week, and I was prepping for the talk by asking a bunch of the people I was on vacation with what they thought about sunshine. And the first thing that people came to say was vitamin D. And that's absolutely true. We all know that we need vitamin D for healthy bones and to prevent fractures. It's also good for several other things, but its primary effect is for healthy bones, which is so important to people, especially as people age. The best way to get healthy bones when you're older is to have as thick a bones you can when you're younger. And to do that, we need vitamin D3 specifically. Vitamin D3 is not actually found in our nutritional sources. We get other forms of vitamin D in our nutrition. And those forms of vitamin D are then metabolized or changed into vitamin D3, which is the active form of vitamin D, by the sunshine. So it is absolutely true that we need sunshine to have enough vitamin D for our bones. Now, in this day and age, it's less true because we all can go to the grocery store or the pharmacy or even the convenience store and find vitamin D3 as a nutritional supplement. But if you've watched this program before, you know that I'm a firm believer in getting things as naturally as possible. Getting it naturally is best. That is a general rule in medicine and nutrition, and it's certainly true here. So how do we get vitamin D naturally? Well, we have a good diet high in dairy foods, fish, meat, vegetables. And then we need to spend some time in the sun. Well, if you were listening a couple months ago when I was talking about skin cancer, I was talking about some of the health hazards of sunshine, and one of those being sunburn and skin cancer. So how do we get enough vitamin D, or sunshine, to get enough vitamin D in a natural way, and yet avoid the hazards of skin cancer? Well, it turns out that there is a Goldilocks zone of the amount of sun that you need to do this. I love that term, the Goldilocks zone. You'll remember the fairy tale about Goldilocks. This chair is too soft, this one's too hard, this one is just right. So when we say Goldilocks zone, we're talking about the amount of softness that's just right. So really the amount of anything that's just right. So what is the amount of sun that's just right? Well, a study done in Valencia, Spain, found that in the summer, you only needed 8 to 10 minutes of sunshine at noon to get enough vitamin D for the day. Only 8 to 10 minutes. That is not a lot of time. Valencia, Spain has about the same latitude as Kansas City, Missouri. So if you're not living in Spain and you would like to know here what latitude that is, that's Kansas City. For us northerners living in Vermont, we need in the summer about 20 minutes of sunshine to get enough vitamin D. Now, the problem then becomes the winter, because in the winter, although there's there can be sun, we don't often see it, but there can be sun in the winter. The problem is that you don't have enough body surface area exposed to the sun to absorb enough of the rays to convert vitamin D into the active metabolite. So you need more exposure time. If out in the winter, maybe only your hands, your face are exposed, 5% of your body surface area, you're going to need more time. Probably in the summer, or the winter rather, at these climates, about 2 hours to 2.5 hours. So you can still get enough vitamin D in the winter, you just have to try harder at it. In the summer, we also have the whole issue of sunscreen. There is no doubt that sunscreen decreases your ability to convert vitamin D into the active metabolite. So what I recommend to people, when I tell them, here's your Goldilocks zone, when you're out early and late, before 10 o'clock and after 6 o'clock in the evening, you cannot wear suntan lotion. Because at that point in time, the UV index is such that you probably don't need that for skin cancer protection. And yet you can still get enough vitamin D at that time to convert over. So the Goldilocks zone is before 10, after 6, you can go without sunscreen, and then use sunscreen in the middle. You'll still go a long way towards preventing skin cancer, and you'll still get enough vitamin D. Somebody asked me the question one time, well, what happens on cloudy days? Do I get enough vitamin D then? And the answer is no, but it doesn't matter, because you store enough vitamin D in your fat cells for months. So vitamin D is precious to the body. We absolutely need it. And like most things that are precious to the body, we have the ability to store them. So don't worry if it's cloudy for a week in a row, because you've got plenty of vitamin D stored up. You can also supplement with vitamin D3, as many of my patients do. I prefer you to get your vitamin D the natural way, especially now that you know how to do it safely. Okay. The second thing about sunshine, and probably the most important thing for a lot of people, is mood. Sunshine improves your mood. Why? Sunshine increases the amount of serotonin available to the synapses in your brain, which is the area where the two nerve cells come together. Serotonin is the chemical that brings the impulse traveling along this nerve to the other one, through this synapse. It goes across on these molecules of serotonin. The more serotonin you have, the better off these neurotransmitters work, and the better your mood is. So it's one of the reasons, by the way, that people who have mood disorders use serotonin medications that increase the amount of serotonin, through a pharmaceutical way. But the sunshine does it as well. And that's also one of the reasons that we treat people with seasonal affective disorder, which is also called SAD. We treat them with light therapy, because if you have a bright enough light, it can also increase the amount of serotonin in your brain. People will say they're less tired during the summer, and that's absolutely true. And that's because with more sunshine, you get less melatonin produced. Most people are familiar with melatonin. It's an over-the-counter sleep aid, and it's a natural hormone produced by your pineal gland to make you tired. Well, during the summer, with more sun shining, your pineal gland produces less melatonin and you're less tired. So your mood is better. You're less tired. I was telling the story before, and I want to tell it again because I think it's a very telling story. It was like a February. I was putting bird seed in my bird feeder out in back of my house on a beautiful day. But the angle of the sun was such that it was hitting my house and blocking it where I was putting the bird seed in. So I noticed that if I took one step over, I could sit there in the sunshine as I filled the bird feeder. So I took the bird feeder off its stand, I put it on the ground, I moved over into the sun, and instantly I felt better. And that's how long these things take. No time at all. As soon as that sun hits the back of your eyes, you start producing serotonin and your mood improves. It's an instantaneous effect. And this is something that's well studied. This is not just my opinion. This is not just some folk's tale. This is a very true and well studied thing. The sunshine improves your mood. In terms of other effects of the sun, it actually improves your skin health, believe it or not. If you take away the possibility of sunburn and skin cancer, which are definitely not good for your skin, the skin helps people with psoriasis and eczema. In fact, I have several patients who have significant arthritis, and they actually go to get UV light treatments all year round. They will all tell you that their psoriasis gets much better in the summer. I used to have psoriasis when I was a kid. It would show up on my elbows around March and the backs of my knees. And then by June, whenever the sun came out in Utica, which was not before June, I can tell you that, all the psoriasis would go away. Sun is better for eczema, and that has a lot to do with the summer being associated with higher humidity levels as well. The sun is good for people with acne. It's also good for people with jaundice. As you may know, newborns who have a little bit of neonatal jaundice, we used to put these folks or these babies onto the sunny side of the nursery, and the sun would actually help break down the bilirubin and make them less yellow. So the sun can be good for your skin, but keep in mind that's once you have prevented skin cancer and sunburn, because if you're getting skin cancer and sunburn, obviously, then the positive effect of the sun on your skin is going to decrease. Alrighty. I wanted to talk about the summer and our weight, because almost everybody thinks that their weight goes down in the summer. And I hate to say it, but it's not true. So maybe I'll label this chapter the possible health benefits of summer, because it is certainly possible, and in my opinion, we all should lose weight during the summer. Why? All these great fruits and vegetables that are available and cheap and abundant. Not only that, the days are longer, giving us plenty of opportunity to exercise. We can be more active in summer. We've got to clean our yards, which makes us more active. So the summertime should be a time of positive weight benefit. Unfortunately, it isn't, and that's especially true for kids. I'm going to have an upcoming show about childhood obesity. We'll talk about that more then. But I wanted to tell you a story. I had this patient of mine, and I still got him, and he's a great guy. Always looking on the bright side of things, this guy, like me, so I get along with him great. He shows up one spring a couple years ago, and his weight was up significantly, and I said to him, what happened to your weight? He goes, hey, doc, I put the winter fat on. He goes, that's okay, I'll take it off during the summer, I always do. So I looked through his vitals in the chart, and I saw that his weight had not gone down every summer like he thought, but I didn't mention it to him. I said, well, listen, all right, let's do this. Let's really focus on you being really active this summer, eating lots of healthy fruits and vegetables, and let's see what your weight is in the fall. So he shows up 6 months later, and he's gained 10 pounds. So I said to him, well, what happened to you? He goes, doc, he goes, the summer? He goes, cookouts, barbecues, pool parties, golf tournaments, sitting by the fire. I got picnics. I went to a few weddings. I went on a summer vacation. How am I supposed to lose weight if I'm going to all these things? And he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's a lot of problems for the summer in terms of weight maintenance, and I call these things distractions to the healthy lifestyle. All those things. Who doesn't love a barbecue or a cookout, a pool party, golf tournament? I love all these things. These are many of the reasons we look forward to the summer, but they can be health hazards as opposed to health benefits if we let them. In terms of what in particular is the problem during the summer, very fatty foods, especially barbecued foods, hot dogs, fatty sausages that we eat, in the summer. those things are obviously part of the problem. But the two biggest things, ice cream and alcohol. Ice cream consumption goes way up in the summer. I happen to love ice cream like most of us, but I will tell you that I barely eat ice cream from October to June. I barely eat it. But in the summer, something pops up into my head, hey, it's ice cream time. Ice cream is incredibly calorie dense. Not only is there a lot of carbs in it, but there's also a lot of sugar, a lot of simple sugars, there's a lot of complex sugars, there's a lot of fat. I remember one time, and I told this story before, but I think it's a good story. My wife was away for a week, and I was, I got home that night and I just didn't feel like cooking. So I said, I'll just have a little ice cream. So I sat down and I ate the entire pint of a Ben & Jerry's, I think it was pistachio, which is one of my favorites. And I'm the only one that likes it. So it's generally the only ice cream in the freezer because nobody else eats it. So I ate the entire pint of pistachio. And, pretty full, but, nothing terrible. I didn't eat anything more for the day. But, I thought, or for the evening, and I thought to myself, well, it can't be too bad. I looked at the carton, and there were 1,320 calories in that pint. And the amount of saturated fat, which is and unsaturated fat, were so high, I blocked it out of my head. I don't even want to think about it. There's a lot of calories in ice cream, and that's one of the main reasons that people don't tend to lose weight in the summer like I want them to. Alcohol is another thing. We drink more in the summer. Next month's program is going to be about the positive and negative health benefits, effects of alcohol. Spoiler alert, most of them are negative. But alcohol's got calories. The other problem with alcohol is that when we drink, we tend to eat more. We tend to forget, what the heck, I'll go on my diet again tomorrow. I'll have that cheeseburger, I'll have the piece of cheesecake kind of thing. So summer can be a time for us to lose weight, but most of us don't. This effect, as I mentioned, is particularly strong with children. And I think, when you think about that, they're in school most of the year, they're limited snack time, limited lunch time, they're home. If all these foods are around, they're going to eat them, which is why I always tell people, if you don't want to eat it, don't buy it. If you don't want ice cream, if you don't want to eat ice cream because you're trying to, be healthy about your weight, then don't put it in your house. Go out for ice cream once a week, but don't have it in your house. Okay, we also love summer because of the longer days. There is so much time during the summer. I always think about this in December when I am leaving, or when I'm looking out my office window around 3:30, 3:45, and it's already getting dark, and I still have a couple hours left in the office. It's pitch black by the time I get home. Contrast that to June when I can get home, spend some time with my wife, have dinner, play some cards, and then we go out for a long walk. And then it's still light out. It's just so much more available time to do stuff. It's warmer out, you don't have to put as many clothes on. So the longer days of summer should correlate to more activity, and they do. There are some things that get in the way of that, mostly heat and humidity. Here in the Northeast during the summer of 2025, we have had tremendous heat and humidity. We haven't had any rain, I will tell you that. But we've had tremendous heat and humidity, and that can be a problem for some people. I like to tell people you can exercise in the heat, you just have to be very careful about it. In fact, there's quite a few health benefits to exercising in the heat. I'm not going to go into them just because I don't want to encourage it to too much. But if you are exercising in the heat, wear light clothing, be very careful, listen to your body in case you start getting, the signs and symptoms, if you have some of the signs and symptoms of heat illness. But stay hydrated, drink lots of water, and keep it short at first, and then go on, increase as you tolerate it. So you can exercise in the heat. The humidity knocks the stuffing out of me. I'm not really sure. I really have a difficult time with humidity. I think that's true of a lot of people, especially people with lung problems, but I don't have any lung problems and it bothers me greatly. The good news is that you can kind of wait it out. The summer's days are long. Go early. If you like to walk, we have so many walkers that go by my house at 6 in the morning. I wake up in the morning, have a cup of coffee. I'm looking out, I'm doing some writing, And I see people walking by my house all the time. These people have figured out how to get around the heat and humidity in the middle of the day. You can also wait to the end of the day, which is a good thing to do. With the long days of summer, people are more active. And the other thing, of course, is that there's more to do. One of the things I like about the winter is that I don't have to do any yard work. I have a big lawn. I've got we got some property that I'm constantly taking care of. There's always something to do. And that can be good for sure, because it gives people stuff they do where they can exercise their bodies. We are meant to move. Our bodies are meant to do things. We were not created to hold the chair down. Motion is lotion. Good health involves activity, being active, doing stuff. And we have so many reasons to be active during the summer. And so many of my patients love that. They love to mow their grass, cut the hedges, trim the trees, cut some firewood, work in the garden. And there's endless things to do. And that's good because it keeps us going. As a kind of guy that likes to exercise outside of yard work, sometimes it gets in my way because I like to hike and bike and kayak and swim and do these all things that are active beyond yard work. And some of the time, the reason I like that is because when the yard work ends, I got so many patients that that's it. They're not doing anything until maybe they'll shovel the driveway a couple times over the winter, and outside of that, they're not active again to the spring. But the long days of summer do give us time to enjoy the things that we like to do, like hiking, kayaking, biking, swimming. Obviously, you can swim all year round in indoor pools, but to me, it's so much more pleasurable to go take a swim in a lake. And we have so many beautiful parks in the state of Vermont, which are all open during the summer. We have so many lakes that are warmer during the summer. So the summer is really the time to enjoy all these outdoor recreational activities that we enjoy. And not only do these things improve our physical health, but they also improve our mood as well. I wanted to talk about a couple other things about the summer. And one of them is the summer increases our motivation to exercise and to be healthier. And part of that is, it's just this, we think about summer as a time to be active. And so all of a sudden the summer comes and the switch turns on in people's brains. And like, all right, I'm going to start walking every day. And it's not just the better weather and the more light. It's also this kind of seasonal switch that turns on with people. People are more motivated to do things in the summertime. The other thing about that is all the reasons that I've talked about that improves your mood. When your mood is better, and when you have more of a sense of wellness, you're going to exercise more. There's also the thing that I call the summer body effect, and I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about that because it's tricky. Why is it tricky? Well, I've had many patients tell me, they show up in the spring and like, I got to go on a diet because I'm going on vacation and I want to wear my bathing suit and I don't want to be embarrassed about the way I look. And I like that from the standpoint that they're motivated to exercise. And again, they're motivated to eat better. And part of me says any type of motivation towards this goal is a good thing. But this one is kind of tricky because there's so many bad things that can be associated with this. We try not to we try not to focus on body size and things like that because of this whole idea of body dissatisfaction and the depression and anxiety that it can create. So I never really focus on that, but patients focus on it. One of the reasons that people like the summer better, and this has been drilled into my head 1,000 times by my patients, and that is that people feel like they look better in the summer. I was talking to one of my patients the other day. He goes, "Yeah, I just love the summer. I look so much better." But he's dead serious. People like the summer because they look better. Our skin tends to be tanned, and we're smiling more. That certainly helps our appearance. But all these things are two-edged swords, as I've talked about, and we have to be careful with that. The last thing I wanted to mention about summer is a time of increased socialization. And this is going to, this little kind of subtopic is going to lead into future shows down the road when we talk about screens and mental health, and how important socialization is for our species. We are a herd species. We are not meant to be sitting alone inside a room looking at a cell phone all the time. Socialization is not clicking like on Twitter or X or liking a video on TikTok. That is not socialization. My wife and I have often joked that in the summer, we all of a sudden see our neighbors that we haven't seen for 6 months because everybody's out. And how much we enjoy seeing everybody over the summer, how much that's good for our mood. I think that's probably, and I saved it for last for this reason, I think the increased socialization that happens in winter is the most positive effect on our health of all the things that we've discussed. We should be going to cookouts. We should be going to parties. We should be going to sitting around the fire with our neighbors. We are meant to spend time with each other. It is good for our health. It is good for our psyche. It is good for our being. So I'm going to encourage you, rather than just to stay home and watch something on your screen, or look at Facebook, or to get out there and be active with other folks. The good news is that we're approaching fall here in Vermont, but fall is a wonderful time of year for us. So many of the things that I talked about today that apply to the summer also apply to the fall. Actually, in my opinion, the fall is even better. It's like super summer because we don't have the heat and humidity. I mean, a beautiful day in the fall. Every once in a while, it might get a little on the hot side, but usually those fall days are just gorgeous. They're just begging you to get out there and take a walk, take a hike, go canoeing. You may not want to swim as much in the summer because the water does tend to get cold with these cold nights, but use any excuse you have for socialization. It is good for us as a species. One of the things that I tell people about socialization is socialization is the best thing that we have to defend against everyone's worst fear. And everyone's worst fear, in my opinion, is getting Alzheimer's disease or some other type of cognitive problem. And cognition is really dependent on social interaction. There is nothing worse for a person than to stay home and sit by themselves and not interact with other people. The best defense you have against Alzheimer's disease is not some supplement, it's not diet. I mean, there's a lot of these things that you can do. But if you're really interested in preventing cognitive issues, and I know we all are, then go out and interact. Be social. Do stuff with other people. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love hiking so much. I go hiking, oftentimes I do it by myself, but when I go on hiking trips with other people, it's 3-4 hours, you're hiking up the mountain. There's nothing else to do but talk and get acquainted and catch up kind of thing. So get out there, go for a hike, do some of the stuff that we talked about today. I want to thank you much for your attention and participation, and please don't forget to go on YouTube, either on PEG TV or my own YouTube channel, and post these videos, share them, like them, tell other people about them, and tell them by word of mouth, because that's socialization. Thanks again. Cheers.